I got a little bit angry at a comment or a reply to a comment that I wrote, really. Um, and I wrote, is it all, tell me, is it really just in my imagination that people all around the world are suffering for the sake of paper money and law? And the reply came, yes. And I just thought to myself, what is a man supposed to do? If every, I don't know. It's just this spiritual aspect that the whole world is internal, and that be the change you want to see in the world and things like that. Kind of as if I'm to blame for everything I perceive. I'm to blame for the world being the way it is. Now, don't get me wrong. I can see a certain amount of sense in that. And over the years, I've tried myself to think, right, okay, I'm just seeing everything too negative. If I saw life more positive, look away from the things that are like corruption that I can do nothing about, and focus on the things that are good, then the world will just change. And so I tried, and I tell you, I tried hard, and I tried over several years, but I noticed the same old thing happening through my life, the same thing that happened through school, is that the outside world just doesn't make sense. The system seems to have its claws in everything. People seem to be affected by it, and therefore not really acting how you would expect each individual to act. So you start to see patterns where people don't believe in themselves, so they decide to do what the government says. And then I thinking to myself, did I create the system in my mind? But then I realised that it's people coming to me from all walks of life, different, all across my travels. It's always people coming to me saying how much they're fed up with the work, that their job is, that their boss in their job is unfair, taking more money, greedy, untrusting, disrespectful, dishonourable, all of this kind of thing. That they have to do overtime. They never get enough time for the family, and the family are always arguing and over silly things, and life just seems to be just one big confusing thing. And I listen to all these people, and I see something in common. I see patterns. So I see a system. I see a system. And let's face it, a lot of people are talking on the internet about the system. A lot of people, and how the system needs repairing or changing, or how the system is corrupt. What is the system? And so if we take it onto a spiritual aspect, that the system is all just me. You all don't exist now. You're just in my fantasy now. I'm to blame for all of this new world order, and I'm to blame for all of the suffering in the world, because it's all in my imagination. Even this video I'm making now is just in my imagination. That's the solipsist kind of way it ends up, in my opinion, or from my experience. Every time someone comes and says, oh, it's all in your head, just stop looking at it and it'll go away, kind of thing. It makes me crazy. Imagine somebody coming to you and feeling sad because they've lost a loved one, and they're weeping a little bit, and they're like falling into nostalgia, memory, and I really miss this person, and I'm feeling really sad, and I don't know what to do with my life. And then the person who they're like looking for some compassion or a little bit of warmth from says, oh, it's all in your head. It's all just you imagining it. Meditate and it'll go away. Or a little child comes and says, I've fallen over and hurt my knee. Pain's only in the mind. It's not a way to deal with each other, really. If someone comes to me with a problem, I don't necessarily think that solving the problem is the thing to do. Just to be there for that person and say, I can kind of understand where you're coming from. And just to be a listener, to listen more than anything. And not, oh, it's all in your head, Just do this spiritual practice and it'll all go away. It's not about that, And to me, it comes back to like the kind of the Messiah complex. You know, you're like in a community of 100 or 1,000 people, or say the whole world. You're in this community of people, and you're looking around. You know, so you're just a small situation. You're all in a house, a big house, a big building, and you notice smoke coming in, like, you know, from under a door. You know, it's obviously like something's on fire, and you look around the room and nobody else stands up, nobody else is doing anything. So you think, okay, everybody else is okay, so I'll stay seated, and the smoke reaches, you know, everyone starts coughing, and still nobody gets up to try and do anything. You know, at what point do you feel that you're like the people's saviour, you know, the Messiah, if you want, or a Messiah, where you stand up and say, I am here to save you all. I will fight this fire. I will lead you out of the smoke into the clean air. Without this idea of, oh, I'm the big head, I'm going to save you all. I've decided to stand up out of ego. No, I'm standing up because I've seen a problem that I feel can be solved, or must be solved even, in order that others do not perish, as I have a responsibility over the lives of myself and others. And so if I see that situation, should I not stand up? Even if other people would say, oh, you're just being an ego head. You're just being a wannabe Messiah. You think you're some kind of saviour. You know, that's a kind of really difficult situation to put someone in, just because they're the ones bringing some kind of truth or bringing some kind of message. You think you know it all. No, I'm just the messenger. I'm just saying what you have all said. I'm just gathering that together and repeating it, you know. And so it gets very... And I think that's why people don't stand up. It's not because that they're afraid of the dangers, and not because they're not aware of the dangers, but because people don't like to stand up in a crowd, because it makes them feel like they're making some kind of claim. It seems like that prestige and fame kind of get in the way, you know. Like if I stand up and say, everybody, the house is on fire, get out. Oh, why should you be the one to speak? Why should we listen to you? You just want popularity. No, I just want to save your life. I want to save my own life, and I don't want to watch people perish. Even if I hate you, I still won't let you die, because it's just not my way, you know. It's nothing to do with wanting to be popular, nothing to do with vanity or wanting prestige, or, you know, in a way it'd be much better to help people without even revealing your identity, you know, helping people in secret. And in a way that's the way the world actually works, mostly. Most of the good deeds that are done on this planet are done by unknown people. People who've decided to keep their identity secret and not claim the credit or claim the prestige from doing that, you know. I'd love to free people. I'd love to set people free, but I don't want to be really the one who's put on a pedestal as the Messiah, you know, or a Messiah or anything. And I would never want that, because it's not like that anyway. You know, people generally, everyone's a saviour. You know, everybody saves everybody else, you know, and we've all got different places in this world. We've all got different missions and different tasks, you know. One person is a really good cook, another person is a really good healer. You know, when I see the sight of somebody else's blood, I get really weak and faint, you know, but you get the little girls love the idea of playing doctors and nurses, and you know, women love to go into the health profession and stuff, you know. And so obviously everybody's got a different task. And so I think, you know, with somebody who guides or leads, or a messenger, or anybody who deals with kind of bringing people together, you know, run the risk in this modern day of being perceived as some kind of wannabe celebrity or some kind of popular popular person or something. I think you know what I mean anyway. This was just a bit more of a blog than a talk anyway. So, but like I say, you know, the world, if all the world is in my head and this is all just my dream, then so be it. I'll do the best I can. I'm not just going to sit back and meditate it all the way. I've tried flying, I can't fly, at least not in a physical realm. Yeah, I can only do what I can do, and I can only mutually imagine that you're kind of got the same kind of thing. You know, we all do whatever it is together. And that's why I make these videos, really. I could just imagine this to myself, but you know, the response I get from comments and the response I get from these videos and stuff kind of proves to me that it's not all in my head, unless you're all in my head. And then I'm maybe just in your head, and then we're back to where we was before. This is all interactivity. This is the truthism. This is the reality. Our bubbles of illusion cross and have some kind of logical law, principles, cause and effect. So I treat it like reality, a dreamality, a dream that we have control over if we stand up and we do something about what we want to do. If we have the courage to see through the fear illusion, the courage to see through our own hatred and to see through the paradigms and the things that we've been taught that led us astray. If we have the courage to be outnumbered, to know that 1 million people will say no, and that no is maybe the incorrect perspective. But that courage we can only keep when we understand that we have a responsibility, whether this is just all in my head, or all just in your head, or whether it really is, we are really in a physical realm together. It really makes no difference at the end of the day. You still can't meditate it all right. So yeah, here's to courage, and here's to friendship and togetherness. Cheerio.